Have you ever wondered how simple machines work? Now you might be thinking, what on earth is a machine? Well, let's break it down. A machine is a tool that helps us do work more easily. Think about it. We use machines every single day. Have you ever ridden a bicycle to school? Or maybe you've seen a car zooming down the street? How about a toy crane in a playground? All of these are examples of machines. You see, machines are like superheroes, but instead of capes and superpowers, they have gears, pulleys, levers, and so much more. They help us lift heavy things, move faster, and do tasks that would be much harder without them. So, machines are amazing tools that make our lives easier, but did you know there are even simpler machines that you use every day? Stay tuned to find out more. Imagine if you could lift a heavy object without much effort, or cut something without using a knife. Sounds like magic, right? But it's not. It's the work of simple machines. So, what are simple machines? Well, they're basic devices that make our work easier. They're so simple that they only have one or two main parts, but don't let their simplicity fool you. They're incredibly powerful, and can help us perform tasks that would be much harder or even impossible without them. One of the most charming things about simple machines is that they're everywhere. They're in your bicycle, your scissors, and even the slide at your local playground. They're so ingrained in our daily lives that we often use them without even realizing it. Now there are 6 types of simple machines that you should know about. First up, we have the pulley. Have you ever seen a flag being raised? That's a pulley at work. It uses wheels and ropes to lift things up with less effort. Next we have the lever. Think of a seesaw or a crowbar. They help us lift heavy objects with little effort by distributing the force over a larger area. Then there's the wheel and axle. This one's pretty straightforward, it's just a wheel turning on a rod or axle. Cars, doorknobs, and even windmills use this simple machine. The wedge, often seen as the sharp edge of a knife or an axe, helps us cut and split things apart. We also have the inclined plane. This is just a fancy name for a slanted surface, like a ramp or a slide. It helps us move things up and down with less effort. And finally, we have the screw. It's like an inclined plane wrapped around a pole. Screws hold things together and can also be used to lift things, so there you have it. The 6 simple machines that make our lives easier every day. And remember, they might be simple, but they're also incredibly powerful. Next time you open a door, remember, you're using a simple machine, the wheel and axle. Ever tried to lift a heavy object? It's hard, isn't it? But with the magic of levers, you become super strong. Let's dive into the world of levers. A lever is a simple machine that makes our work easier. It's a straight rod or board that pivots on a point known as the fulcrum. Picture a seesaw in a playground. That's a lever. The fulcrum is the point in the middle where the seesaw pivots. When you push down on one end of the lever, the other end goes up. So, if you've ever launched your friend into the air on a seesaw, you've used a lever, cool, right? And it's not just seesaws. Look around you, levers are everywhere. Take a pair of scissors, for example. When you squeeze the handles together, you're pushing on a lever. So, the next time you cut paper with scissors, remember you're using a lever. Imagine lifting a bucket of water from a well. Sounds tiring, right? But with the power of pulleys, the task becomes easy. Welcome to the world of pulleys, a simple machine that's been making our lives easier for thousands of years. Believe it or not, a pulley is nothing more than a wheel with a groove in it and a rope that runs along that groove. But what's so special about it, you ask? Well, the magic of a pulley lies in its ability to change the direction of force. When you pull down on one side of the rope, the wheel turns and lifts up whatever's attached to the other side. It's like having a superpower that lets you lift heavy things with ease. Now think about this. Have you ever watched a flag rise up a flagpole? Or seen a crane lift heavy materials at a construction site? That's the power of pulleys in action. So whenever you see a flag going up a pole, remember, there's a pulley at work. Now that we know about simple machines, are you ready for some fun facts? Let's start with a little trip back in time. Did you know that simple machines date back to the Stone Age? That's right. Our ancestors used simple machines like the lever and the inclined plane to move heavy objects. They didn't have cranes or forklifts, so these machines were quite the lifesavers. Now, let's talk about some of the masterminds behind these machines. Have you heard of a guy named Archimedes? He was a Greek mathematician who lived over 2,000 years ago. Archimedes is famous for his work on levers and pulleys. In fact, he once said, "Give me a place to stand and I shall move the earth." He was referring to the power of the lever. With a long enough lever and a place to stand, he believed he could move anything, even something as massive as our planet. And then there's Leonardo da Vinci. This Italian genius wasn't just a fantastic painter, he was also a great inventor. Many of his sketches show intricate designs of simple machines. He even designed a self-propelled cart. which is considered an early version of the modern car. His designs were so ahead of his time that many of them could not be built until hundreds of years later. Did you also know that simple machines are everywhere around us? From the scissors you use to cut paper, which is a type of lever, to the wheels on your bicycle, which are examples of the wheel and axle, simple machines make our lives easier every day. And here's a fun fact. The screw, one of the 6 simple machines, not only holds things together, but is also used to lift things. That's right, the screw is a twisted inclined plane, and when you turn a screw, it moves forward or backward, depending on the direction you're turning it. Isn't it fascinating how these simple machines have been around for thousands of years and are still helping us every day? Now that we've learned so much about simple machines, it's time to test your knowledge. Let's kick things off with our first question. Can you remember all the 6 types of simple machines we discussed today? Take a moment to think about it. Yes, you got it. They are the lever, wheel and axle, pulley, inclined plane, wedge, and screw. These simple machines make our everyday tasks much easier. Moving on to our second question, let's see if you can give an example of a pulley. You might recall we talked about a flagpole, or an elevator, where a rope or a cable runs over a wheel to lift heavy objects. That's right. Those are some common examples of pulleys we see in our daily lives. Now for our final question, let's dig into the history a bit. Can you remember the name of a famous person who contributed to the development of simple machines? This might seem a bit tricky, but think about the scientist who gave us the 3 laws of motion. Yes, it's none other than Sir Isaac Newton. He made significant contributions to the field of physics, and his laws of motion have helped us understand how simple machines work. Well, that wraps up our quiz. How did you do? Whether you got all the answers right or learned something new, remember, the aim is to keep exploring and learning. Simple machines are all around us, making our lives easier and more efficient. They are the unsung heroes of our daily tasks, silently working behind the scenes. Don't forget, every time you use a scissors, ride a bicycle, or even open a door, you're using simple machines. So, the next time you come across any of these, take a moment to appreciate the magic of simple machines. Great job, everyone! Keep exploring and learning more about the amazing world of simple machines.